For today's health hack, let's talk about fatigue. It's something that we see a lot in the clinic. It's a common problem, and there's really a lot to say about it. So there's more to say than I can do in just a few minutes. But let me look at the hormone aspect of fatigue. There's two key hormones when we're talking about fatigue. The first one is thyroid, and pretty much everybody knows about this. And the way to screen it is you run a blood test. If the numbers, the TSH is high, or the tests indicate there's low thyroid, what you do is you go on thyroid, the problem solved. Now again, there's oversimplification, there's lots more to say about thyroid. But what's often overlooked is the second most common cause of fatigue. In fact, it may actually be more common than thyroid. It's up there, it's pretty close. And that's adrenal fatigue. Now, doctors don't check adrenal fatigue very often. And the reason for that is adrenals give you your get up and go. So they only produce hormone when you need it. So if you're not using it, the numbers should be low. And if you are using it, the numbers will be high. Now thyroid's different. Thyroid gives you your basic, level day in and day out energy. It sets your metabolic rate. So you can check it in a blood test. It's sensitive to blood testing. Whereas adrenal hormone, the key one being cortisol, is not accurate when you do blood testing with it. And the reason why is because usually it's too high. And it's because when you get your blood tested, it hurts. So your alarm goes up, so your body pumps tons of cortisol into your system, so the cortisol ends up coming high. It looks fine. Even though you may be low cortisol, 98% of the time, that one moment when you get your blood tested, it comes out fine. Now you can do blood testing for cortisol if you do a series of tests like every half an hour, but who's going to do that? Doctors don't do that. They just don't do it. And it's also not fun for the patient, so it's not a great way to check. So, nonetheless, it's a common problem. And you have a cortisol problem if things get excited and you don't get excited, your energy drops, or you get exhausted easily, or if you have a lot of worry. If you're just somebody who just, naturally worries, or you're in a worrisome situation, you could mount an appropriate response at first, but eventually it just wears you out. You just get tireder and tireder, especially in the morning when you wake up. You just drag yourself awake. These are all classic for adrenal fatigue. And again, doctors rarely check. Now there is one in-office thing that you can do to see if you have it. It doesn't prove you have it, but it greatly increases the chances that it's actually what the problem is. And that is you take your blood pressure. This is the hack. You take your blood pressure when you're sitting. When you calm down, you sit there for, 5 minutes or so. And then you take your blood pressure, and then you stand up, and you take it again. Now somebody with normal adrenal function will have their blood pressure go up about 10 points from sitting to standing. The reason for that is going from sitting to standing is stressful, and your body mounts an appropriate response to that stress. Now it's not mentally stressful, but physically it's stressful. When you stand up, all your blood falls to your feet. So what your body has to do is it has to squeeze your blood vessels. It uses cortisol to do that, and it squeezes the blood vessels, keeps blood coming up to your head. People who have a very severe problem with this stand up and pass out, or stand up and get dizzy and have to hold on to something before they're going to fall. So short of that, you could pick it up with a blood pressure cuff. Again, if the number stays the same from sitting to standing, you have a problem. You're actually running 10 points low. It's treatable and you'll feel better for it. Heaven forbid your blood pressure actually drops. Maybe 5 points, maybe 10 points. 15 is about the most I've ever seen anybody drop. That's a clear indication that you have either adrenal fatigue or you're dehydrated. Now, if you want to separate the two, you could drink some water and try it again and see if it's the dehydration. Mostly, it turns out it's not. I'm not saying that people aren't commonly dehydrated, but mostly it's not enough to bring your blood pressure down at that point. Mostly what it is, it's adrenal problems. Now, the way you fix it is common sense here, is you do stuff that promotes adrenal function. You do stuff that actually encourages your adrenals to work better. Turns out there's all kinds of things. And typically what we do here at the clinic is we'll put people on a combination formula of stuff that helps adrenal functions. Usually what's in it is vitamin C, B5. B5 is particularly helpful for adrenals. And oftentimes we'll put in adrenal gland, actually powdered adrenal gland. Turns out adrenal gland has a bunch of stuff that adrenals like. And if you feed your adrenal glands, it won't fix in a day, but if you feed your adrenal glands, they'll slowly gain ground and feel better. I mean, the other thing is just, being healthy, eat right and exercise, sleep well at night, do those kinds of things. Common sense again. The key point here is that adrenal glands are a common cause of fatigue. It's especially bad when you've been going through a stressful time. Your adrenal glands just get plumb tired out. They can't keep producing huge amounts of cortisol every day or catecholamines every day. They just eventually just get tired. Their stores get depleted. When that happens, you feel tired. You feel exhausted. And you can fix it. There's ways you can actually improve adrenal function, the midways I mentioned, and it turns out to be, not rocket science at all. So there's today's health hack. This is Dr. Scott Looper, Medical Director of the Alaska Center for Natural Medicine, here to help you live better.